the best.
A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Business This Week. I am Igbuya in for Blessing Aiche. As always, this week we're looking at essentially the happenings in the world of business across the country and a little beyond. But first, want to take a look at the industry now known as events management, where you have people who have been able to commercialize on different levels event management. Up until now, it was the practice, if you like, the tradition for people to basically manage their own events. They plan and execute based on budgetary elements and, of course, availability of resources. But these days, we have people who are professionally grounded to manage events for you. Some persons have said, well, this may come at a premium. But then again, we see people who have come to appreciate the place of event management in terms of delivering real-time, measurable value for people who organize events across this country. However, in light of the pandemic that basically took its toll on Nigeria starting from March this year, many of those who are in that industry started having issues because at that point, because of the several measures, proactive measures that had been put in place to ensure that we check the incidence of infection, made it almost impossible for you to have events across this country. But as it stands today, we know for a fact that a good number of them have been able to survive the storm, and today, not so many of them smell of the smoke that came from it. I'll be joined by an expert to look at all of the issues that led or that have led to the evolution of event management in Nigeria, where we are today and where we are likely going to be given the trajectory that we are seeing today. First, we're going to quickly take a look at stories for you from the world of business right after this break. Stay with me. Okay, let's just quickly give you a picture of what has happened in a couple of days, last couple of days, that is, in the world of business. The Senate yesterday expressed worry over the failure of agencies to remit revenues into the purse of the federal government. Consequently, challenged the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation to develop a modern software that would enable government to monitor revenues as they were being paid into Federation accounts every minute. The Red Chamber noted with concerns that out of the 300 revenue-generating agencies, only about 60 were being monitored by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Members of the Senate Committee on Finance expressed concern when the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, appeared before them to defend his 2021 budget proposals. Chairman of the committee, Solomon Adeola, had sought to know how Accountant General of the Federation was going to monitor funds generated by ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government. Nigeria, we are told, is almost reaching its maximum capacity to borrow and must be proactive in ramping up tax revenue collection. That's according to the Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Governor El-Rufai, who spoke yesterday, lamented the low rates of tax collection in the country while delivering his keynote address at the 22nd Annual Tax Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, with the theme Taxation and Economic Competitiveness, Imperatives for National Development. He said, quotes, only a minority of Nigerians pay income tax, and the majority, which of course is very tiny according to him, are persons whose taxes are deducted at source, formal sector employees, public servants, and the like, end of quote. He said many state governments and the federal government are not collecting as much taxes as they should. And now there is a finding we wanted to take a look at quickly, and of course we're bringing you insight along that line. Poor infrastructure has been identified as one of the major barriers to agricultural trade within and outside Nigeria. An associate director at PricewaterhouseCoopers Nigeria, Taiwo Oyaniron, while speaking at the AFCTA workshop organized by the National Action Committee on African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, he stated that Nigeria had significantly poor transport infrastructure and services, particularly in the rural areas. According to him, the lack of cold chain logistics also contributes to a decreased trade capacity through losses from spoilage and impact on time to reach the market. He noted that information and communications technology as well as commerce infrastructure play a critical role in the availability of market information and rapidity of reaction. Oyeniran said despite recent improvements in the state and quality of digital and telecommunications technologies, ICT infrastructure in Nigeria still required significant improvement to enable trade efficiency. He identified bottlenecks at the seaports as one of the factors affecting cross-border trade. He said Nigeria's 6 seaports are limited by capacity constraints and aging infrastructure. In addition to these, customs and border administration processes are relatively difficult with multiple bottlenecks. These negatively impact on the costs and the case efficiency of ease border trade. Highlighting the state of infrastructure and agribusiness in Nigeria, he noted that Africa's food imports bill stood at about $35 billion in 2016, and it is expected to rise to $110 billion by 2025. Apparently, that's in the next 1 year. Okay, lastly, let's look at an issue that has seen a fair share of controversy as well. That is solid minerals. But the federal government now plans to establish a mineral, or rather a solid mineral processing hubs across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Now, while speaking at the 2020 Nigeria Mining Week, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamileko Adebite, said hubs would be sited to locations of artisans and miners. He made this known while addressing the topic formalizing artisanal and small-scale mining, the urgent needs to formalize or formulate adequate policies. According to him, the ministry will consult with artisanal miner groups to understand their needs and reach a consensus on the type of processing hub that they require. Okay, that's business roundup for you. We're taking a quick break now to enable us bring in the conversation as to what has been the timeline for event management in Nigeria and where the business is heading, given the realities that we have in front of us. Stay with me.
Christmas don't come on! I can't be tired of celebrating Jesus.
Why should you? Is it tired of blessing you, protecting and defending you?
Oh, I don't know, say you know.
I know wella.
Celebrate, Jesus, celebrate.
That reminds me, you hear say ITV Radio they organize party to celebrate Baba Jesus?
No be Christmas Igbadun. I don't hear. In fact, I don't start to the practice the steps where I won't give Baba Jesus that day.
You sure say your steps go beat my own?
No worry, we gonna meet each other for the
I just the one that say we can party, yeah. Everything yakba, everything there.
Don't let them tell you how it happen, oh, because give to Yakpata for various competitions with star price of Tolo, cartoon characters, artists, and DJ to supply music we go move you day.
Almost go be. We just having fun. We won't carry on.
Father of the Day, Bishop Dr. Okudigie Osayuki Charles, General Overseer, Anointed Brethren Church International Incorporated, and Administrator, SETA International School, GRA, Benin City.
Date
Friday, 25th December 2020. Time 11 a.m. Select. Venue ITV Radio Corporate Office, Glass House, Airport Road, Benin City. Gate fee 500 naira per head.
people will put hand for our back for this program. Now, KC Devices Phone Shop for sales of phone, laptop, CCTV cameras, inverter, fitness smartwatch, accessories and gadgets. Number 68, Airport Road, opposite FIROS before Akenzwa Junction, Shop 68, Bob Iswa Complex, opposite Oba Market, Benin City, and 106, Okpe Road, beside Delta Line, Igbuya Shopping Complex, SAPELE, Delta State. Telephone now 0803 6408 268.
Amorege Cyril, CEO, The Prince Builders and Estate Developers Limited, currently selling the Prince Builders Estate Phase 2, Obage Community at Sapele Road Bypass, Phase 3 at Obayanto Community off Airport Road, Phase 4, Imasabo Community along Sapele Road, Phase 5, Obaretin Community along Sapele Road, Head Office, Comfort Plaza, A4 HT off Adesua Road, GRA Benin City. Call 0815-171-1111. Genesis Tutorials, Science, Art and Social Sciences for JAM SSC exams, located at Uselu opposite Redeemed Church, Sapele Road by Ajib, Ipoba Hill opposite Keystone Bank, Sokomba Road by First Junction, Siloko Road at Ogwola Junction by the traffic light at an Ekenwa Road. For details, call 0806-515-8238. Supported by Jonasco Technical Enterprise, located at number 33, Owa Junction, Upper Mission Extension, Ute Quarters, close to Temboga Market, Benin City. Dealers in bulletproof doors, soundproof doors, stainless handrails, stainless gates, and carports.
Nament Energy Limited, 51 Akenzwa Street, near Olivia Waters, Benin City, for sales of cooking gas and cylinders.
Prophet Goldwater Agawanyi, Senior Pastor, Floodgate of Heaven International Ministries, second turn by your right, off Chief Francis Edo Sage Street, off Limit Road, Ubo Village Road, GRA Benin City.
Christmas Igbadun!
Igbadun Repete!
Okay, thank you for staying with us on the program. I'm joined by someone who's been there, done that, as they say, and of course, has seen both sides of the coin. When events management wasn't as impressive as it is today, when it hadn't found traction, as we've come to realize today. I'm joined by Izore Eki Helen. She's a creative director at Rural World Events, and she's also an event consultant in these parts of the world. She's been part of the development we're seeing as far as events management is concerned in Nigeria. Thank you for coming to join us on the program today. We appreciate it. All right. When you look back today, for example, that's where we are coming from in terms of all of the chains of events that we're seeing. Do you feel like, I mean, are you impressed with where we are today? Do you think we could have done more if we had the, as it were, ideal environment?
Yeah. I would say, you know, Nigerians, we learn very fast.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't part of our culture, but the Western world brought it to us, and we were able to learn and learn very fast. You can imagine where they're having international seminars all over the world.
Right. 1
or 2 Nigerians are picked to even have talks. You understand? So I've been so impressed. So far, so well, irrespective of the enabling environment that we have never gotten.
Right.
But we've been able to use whatever we have to be able to get very close. I would say in the whole wide world today that Nigeria will not be shortlisted as one of the countries that are doing well when it comes to event planning, management, and even education. So it's a plus.
The pandemic, I mean, the COVID-19 has been here for a while, and a lot of persons say, look, it has rubbed off in ways that are very adverse. In fact, some businesses had to cut down. I know of people within the events management chain who had to cut down in terms of manpower, for example. I know some who closed shops altogether. You want to talk to me about the impact that had on the industry?
Yeah, the impact was very massive. So many of the talks I had, or some of the interview I granted, I said, I think the event industry was the worst hit. And because as it affects me, I wouldn't even know how it's coming from your end, but some other sector, they were not as badly hit as you can see working. But every other person thought it was just an end. You see that a lot of event personalities, they started trying 1 or 2 things, trying to diversify or try some other businesses and all that. So many people were terrified. We were pitied. But we were able to put ourselves together during that period. I will not lie about it. We have to put ourselves together, organize a lot of online classes, talk to each other, you know, look for a way out. But when the thing was going to open up, it opened like, except for some states that are still down, you understand? But I think it's not the end. A lot of businesses were shut down. A lot of staff, like in my own company, had to lay off some staff, you know, I have to put some on half salary, I have to struggle to pay the others, you understand? So, but right now, Edo has been a little bit okay after the election and all that. It has been a little bit relaxed, irrespective of that. The governor didn't come on air to say, you go ahead and all that, but somehow we're able to do the social distancing thing, still have some fun, still have party planned and, you know, executed and all that. So for those companies that felt that that was the end of the whole thing, that they don't have anything for now, for some states that have not picked up, and for some countries too. You know, some countries are still going on. COVID is still
streets. I mean, as well, measures.
Yes, measures.
Yeah.
So I would say that they should just hold on and stay put. That it's going to get better.
You see, this pandemic, I know you're not here to talk about pandemic, but we're looking at the, for want of better words, the interface that the pandemic has had with your industry that you're also passionate about, all right? The pandemic has compelled many event managers across the world. So begin to see a curve in the way they perceive event management. For example, many events have now moved online altogether, as against the traditional mode we've always had. In what ways are Nigerian event managers, including yourself, also moving with the tide?
Okay. I said that a lot of classes, online classes were held, Zoom meetings and training.
I'm sure you were a resource person at that point.
So many times, so many times were. So we had to put ourselves together and come out to something. You understand? Now the Zoom and the online events and all that. But you find out that when we came out with the paperwork and all that, the presentation that was done in Abuja, the presentation that was done in Edo, we even did a presentation sent to the governor, yes, how events should be held and all that. We found out that the event managers were not the major soul. Without an event manager, nothing can be done. So they had to ensure that the people having our vendors are well trained and well guided. Then the guests also are well guided on how to come in, how to, you know, sanitize your hands and all that. We now saw that without an event manager, there was no way an event can take place, because proper rotation, guest listing, admission of guests into the hall, ensuring that the hall decorator and the hall manager and the hall directors adhere strictly to the COVID-19 measures and all that. So I don't think it has done so much to the event planners, but for the decorators, for the food vendors, and for that vendors, because of the number of guests that was trained, their services, you know, they are not getting as much as the number of guests they used to get. But for the event planners, it has even opened more way, and going online hasn't really reduced much. It's only that the number of persons you put in a room, for example, at a time, now it's been reduced, but people are still there, even while you're still streaming all over the world for your families and friends to join you in the party. So I think it's not a bad deal for the event planners. It's even
like a blessing in disguise, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'll tell you something quickly. I'm in broadcasting, for example, an industry that is strictly regulated, okay? I don't know about events management. Is it an all-comer affair for people within? I mean, everybody wakes up, I mean, most people wake up and they say, I'm now into event management. They start a shop somewhere, they have a few items outside, they have their business card, and they are good to go. Is that all there is to event management?
Yes. For a long time, it was like that, but recently, we are trying to put it
to streamline, right?
Yes, and to really organize it and put it together. As one of my talk I had like 2 years ago, I said anybody that leaves school, there's not much to be done, no job, opportunity and all that. You can just wake up, open an Instagram page, take a business name, you know, and you know, even when you are not registered, you just go online, do some few courses, you know, trainings online, and see I'm an event person. But for the decorators, it wasn't like easy, because you need to really go through some trainings, you need to really know how it takes to set a hall and all that. But some people just go through miniature training, and they start. But it's getting tougher and it's getting better. You know, when I say we are trying to meet up to the world standard, when you are meeting up to the world standard, these ones that are just jumping in become quacks. So lots of people are now going to trainings. But in Lagos, we have a lot of training school. In Benin, we also have training school. We also have seminars. We also have classes. But abroad, they also have short courses like 6 months, 1 year courses that will train you and all that.
And these are certifications?
Yes, yes. But in Nigeria, I haven't really seen yet, apart from hoteling and all that. But for proper event planning, I haven't really seen. But if you want to get some training so that you can meet up to world standard, you are speaking to somebody that is coming for the first time to Nigeria to have a wedding, for instance. If you're a quack, you're not going to get it, because you have to depend that you're able to convince the person that you can meet up to world standard. So I employ that. Anybody that wants to come in, you're interested and all that, get a proper training, get proper certification before going in, because it's getting tough.
You look at the industry today, for example, you realize that a lot of persons don't have the training that you talked about. Yes, they are into events management. You have events for individuals. Somebody wants to have a wedding, for example, an anniversary. That's on the one hand. But you have corporate events. You have events that are put together by corporations, by large corporate entities, for instance. What's the disparity between both in terms of the demand it places on you as an event manager?
The one you want to plan for a small birthday party in the house, or you want to plan for a wedding for a cousin that you just want to try your hands at, they're quite easy. They are quite easier to jump into and do. But when it comes to corporate events, I think you need proper training. Like some states do not still have proper companies that can handle real standard corporate events. So we see that they still outsource these persons from outside some states. And there are some places where we have clusters of them. Some of those events can be really
I want to bring something to your attention quickly. Every time we talk about business, for example, a lot of persons are quickly, off the top of their heads, to compare Benin and Lagos. Exactly. And we've seen people do events in these states, in those states, and they bring events managers from Lagos. What does that say to us in real time?
Bringing event planners and stylists from Lagos has drastically reduced. I want to tell you that in the last few years it has calmed down. Like when I started, in fact, they used it for the common side, they used it for the local events, they used it for the smaller one, and when they have something bigger, they bring from Lagos. But in recent times, I think like for Edo, the indigenous event planners and stylists and all that, we've been able to hijack it to 97%.
In Benin?
Yes.
And we have statistics for that, don't we?
Well, just a rough estimate, because 1 or 2 events now go to people in Lagos. So, and because there's not much money also to throw around, you have to consider their logistics and all that. So they look inward. And also, we back here had to take the bull by the horn, because it was most challenging, because these people do not have 2 heads. They went to the same schools that we went to. You understand? So we almost everybody, because no proper school for event planning yet, we all went to, you see a lot of them, like I am a trained teacher, for example, and I know a lot of event persons. Some are lawyers, some are doctors, some are pharmacists, you understand? So we went to the same school. So how come they bring them? And also the Lagos people too, they were trying to organize seminars and short classes and trainings. And so as we were going for those trainings, we were learning, you understand? And we put, even right here in Edo, we have been able to put ourselves together in a group where we are running mentorship. Like I run a lot of mentorship classes. If you are stuck, you don't know what to do, and you beckon on me, I'm ready to let you know what you have to do and all that. By the time I tell you 1 or 2 times, you should be able to pick up from there.
I've spoken with many people who are very, very impressed with what you do, right? And then in passing, you mentioned mentoring, for example. However, there are people who feel event management is just about decoration, food, and drinks. What's your reaction to that? No,
it's a lot more. It starts from scratch to finish. That's when we are talking about event planning. But also have the DJs are in there. The hospitality department is also there. The hotels, the halls. Yes, we also have the caterers. We have the Even dancers, comedians, you know.
MCs, for example.
Yes, MC, comedian. MC one side, comedian one side. You can just be a compare and you can handle an event. You also have comedians coming to, you know, put in more light and make it more
crowd the audience up.
Yes, when the event is going. We'll bring in dancers, calisthenic dancers and all that. So it's a whole lot. It's not just caterers and food, drink persons and just decorations. Even the people who style the clothes, you understand? Makeup artists, you know, the hairstylist and all that. So it's very wide.
As it stands today, can we say events managers, especially in our dear state Edo, now smiling to the bank? Is it comfortable to say that?
I don't want to discourage people that are coming in. It's not a bad deal, especially when you know what you are doing and you package yourself very well and you're able to sell and capture the heart and the mind of the audience.
Okay.
Do you understand? Way back it was just a word of recommendation or who do you know? But we have grown up above that. You don't need to do a lot of eye servicing or you need to connect to one person or connect to the other. Just do your thing well because the world is a global village and you know with the communication and the social media thing, everybody gets to see what you are doing and how you are doing it. No matter how you try to paint it on social media, people are able to look very well and detail it and know when they can tell when you are doing well and when you are not doing well. So it's beyond that. Just do it rightly. That's what I tell everybody. Just do it rightly and, you know, live yourself and just be yourself. Try to capture the heart of your clients and everybody. So if you're able to sell, you have a package, you're able to sell it to one or two persons. Who sees will come. One month's recommendation, fine, but it's not the order of the day any longer. It just a good service delivery brings another one.
Before we're done, I just want to give you 1 minute to react to something. Branding for event management, right? Are we getting it right with branding? A lot of persons say, look, for you to succeed in event management, one of the very fundamental issues you must address is packaging. I mean, quote and unquote. All right? Are we doing a great work with packaging? No, a lot of persons in Benin are not still getting it. The branding level is still... It's still poor, right? Yeah. So, but what I see in the next 3 to 5 years in Edo, because for the Edos, they learn very fastly. Okay. Yes, they learn very fastly. What I see, I can see good results. So we are also, even some of us that are also trying to talk to the newbies, people that are joining us are trying to, because we have to, even when we are going to, like I have done like 15 years, sooner than later I may say, okay, let me leave it for the next person to take over. From behind you. Yes, so we have to also package them in a way that they do better than us, because our prayers is like your children should do better than you are. When you say children, doesn't mean that your biological children. Right. Even these people that we are mentoring, that I am mentoring, that they should get it better. You understand, you know? When even at all day with my glasses on, I see someone that went through me, is somewhere giving a talk, or is all over the world doing events. I'm happy. I say, see, look there. This person went through me and all that. So we're also trying to tell them that branding and packaging is the height. Without a proper packaging, you can't get it. Okay. If they just see you and they see you shabbishly. I'll tell you something quickly. If there's anything I've learned, which I'm sure our audience have also learned, is the fact that there's need for training. You must start from the bottom up. So it's not something you rush into. You must have the experience. As my boss would say, you have to go through the meals, all right? And that makes a lot of sense because you have to grow into the industry. That's the point my guest on the program today has been making. I've been speaking with Izore Helen Eki. She's the creative director at Rural World's event. She's also an events manager. Thank you so very much for coming to spend a part of your lunchtime with us today. We appreciate it. Thank you. It's a pleasure here. Okay. All right, that's what we're leaving it on the program for this week. I'm Igbuya Agumofegbe. I've been sitting in for Blessing Aiche. Our coverage on ITV continues. Have a big weekend ahead of you.